Hello guys, Antoine here for Simarchitecture and welcome back to a new build. So today we are building something a little bit different and extravagant, I would say. We're building a very tacky mansion, which is actually inspired by a real house that is being built in Texas in the United States. And this house is absolutely horrible, really. Yeah, to be honest, I think I've never seen such a mansion with such a style, tacky style. It is going to be one of the largest houses ever built in the US, but really it looks like a mall from the 90s or 80s. It has some very high green mansard roof, which I couldn't really make as they are in the real life, because in real life they're almost as straight as walls, so you can't do that in the Sims 4. But yeah, I kept the idea of very high green roofs, as you will see a bit later in this bit build. And yes, so the only picture we have of this house that is being built are concept 3D views of the house. And we don't know much about the way the garden is designed, so I can really imagine it in a very tacky way with a lot of bushes, fountains, also this kind of chip red brick, which doesn't match at all the style of the house. Because the main problem with those mansions, I can also mention the mansion called Versailles, which is a real insult to the real Versailles. It is built for Mr. Siegel, if I'm not wrong. It's also one of the largest houses in the US, but I think it's not finished yet because of money problems or something like that. And yeah, it's an extremely tacky house with different styles that don't match, and altogether it's supposed to be very luxurious, but in the end it just looks super cheap and super tacky, and that's what I wanted for this house, which is a little bit surprising, I know, but I thought it would be a very fun build to do. I know that some of my former builds also look tacky, especially the houses that I've built when Get Famous was released. Yes, because the pack itself is very tacky, and also because, I don't know, when I think about a big celebrity mansion, most of them are in a very tacky style. But this one is on another level. They're just tackier than any houses I've ever built. And yeah, I was talking about the exterior. So the exterior is very free. It's just my imagination. So yes, a lot of bushes, palm trees. There are 2 swimming pools with ridiculous rocks and statues, big fountains, no sense of proportion or elegance, and that's all we wanted with this house. And for the interior, I actually didn't spend much time inside. I didn't want to furnish all the rooms because actually the house is pretty huge. And it was a nightmare to furnish it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to furnish 10 or 15 bedrooms because it's too ugly. I cannot. So I actually just focused on the main rooms of the house. So there will be the main lobby, which is the entrance hall, and also a formal living room, which is super ridiculous because of this very high ceiling that don't make any sense, and also those elements that I used from the Get Famous pack, especially this gold and marble wall patterns that are just ugly. Also many furniture from this pack, everything golden. Actually, I used it for this build. So there's the main lobby. There is this big corridors that just looks like you're being in an airport, which is something that you can see a lot in those kind of mansions. It doesn't feel comfortable at all. Actually, it just feels huge, and it's not like a home. It's just, I don't know, yeah, a mall or an airport. Anyway, there's those big corridors. I furnished the dining room, 3 living rooms, and one of them is rather a music room. There's also the dining, the master bedroom, and that's it actually. I didn't furnish the kitchen or some other rooms that could be here. I didn't do a basement, but feel free to do so if you want to play in this house. It could be funny actually to create a very rich but not glamorous family, if you know what I mean. Yeah, like those new rich, that thing that having everything gold in the house make them look rich. Yes. And yes, oh, and I'm thinking about it right now, the actual house doesn't have any foundation. It just looks like it's put on the floor, directly on the floor. So it doesn't have little stairs leading to the front door or anything, just flat. And this fitter or non-fitter, because it's not here, just make it look like a very cheap place, I think. And it was interesting to see that, because even in the Tacky Mansions I've seen before, they all have some sort of foundation or different level terraces that could look nice, but in this case, no, they don't have that. They just have a big flat house on the same level, and it's just helpful. Anyway, I think it could be a kind of funny place to play in, because there are a lot of things to do. I think if you furnish all the rooms, you can have a library, a conservatory, a bowling alley if you want, pretty much everything possible, I guess. And also the exterior is very tacky, but somehow cool, because there are a lot of palm trees, fountains, swimming pools. I guess it might be cool if you're into water parks, because it somehow looks like a water park, I think. But yeah, this is this house. I don't expect you to enjoy it or to like it. It was not the goal of this video. I just wanted to do a fun build, something a bit different, and yeah, it was a lot of fun to build it. So I hope you will enjoy the concept, the idea, probably not the house itself. And for the next video, we are going to build a modern museum inspired by the new expansion pack, which is coming next month, Eco Living. And yes, I also have some ideas for a coming build, but I'm not going to say too much. And then of course in June, we are going to focus on the new expansion pack, and we're going to build eco living houses or mansions. We'll see what we have in terms of content. I don't know much about it, and I'm really excited to discover this new pack. Now it's time for me to go. If you like this house or not, if you hated it, don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.